everybody, and welcome to the Goffstown ZBA meeting of September 6, 2022. If you would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. Currently, the board does have 5 members and 1 alternate. If anyone is interested in serving on the ZBA, you can contact the Town Hall zoning office for more information. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from the applicants, the abutters, and affected parties, and to ask questions about the request. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of that request. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You're welcome to watch the deliberations here this evening, or you can contact Town Hall to get the results. For an applicant's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance if there is not a full 5-member board to act on an application. Tonight we do have 5 members. One of our regular members is absent, but Judy is going to be a voting alternate tonight. So we do have our 5-member board. If you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to the Superior Court. However, before appealing to Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve that right to appeal. Rehearing requests must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. And failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to Superior Court. So if you guys would, if you would all make sure your phones are silenced for the course of the meeting, I would appreciate it. And we will have introductions, and we'll begin with Derek, please.
Derek Horn, Town Administrator. I'm serving as Staff Liaison.
Jason Cody, member.
I'm Gail LeBret, Chairman and Recording Secretary.
Judy Lane, member.
Alan Jayton, member.
Denise Langley, member.
Thank you. Okay, the first thing on our agenda is the minutes to the zoning board meeting of August 2nd. Do we have a motion or corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
You all set with that, Jason? You okay with that? Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against or abstaining? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Our first and only application tonight is Building Savvy LLC applicant and Christopher and Kristen Freitas, owners, are seeking a special exception to construct an accessory attached dwelling unit in accordance with sections 3.12.A.6 and 5.2 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The application is also seeking a variance to allow the proposed accessory attached dwelling unit to be 1,000 gross square feet, whereas section 5.2.1 provides a maximum size of 800 square feet of gross floor space. The property is located at 4 Pasture Drive, map 8, lot 60-1, and it is zoned agricultural. I will entertain a motion regarding regional impact, please.
Our motion is no regional impact.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, who is representing or presenting for this application? Would you want to come to the table and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Are we going to do both together or can we do them separately?
The special exception in zone and
Do the special exception first?
yeah, we should do the special exception
think that
first
would
and
be
then the
best.
variance.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Joe Landry. My company is Build Savvy, and I'm representing the homeowners, Chris and Kristen Freitas,
Okay.
and they're requesting to put an ADU on their current structure. And it's so, their families can join together. It's mom and dad. It's Kristen's mom and dad are hoping to come and join them. We're basically, everything within the plans is to your specifications. We're not talking about the 200 square feet right now.
Not yet. We're
Yeah.
gonna do the special exception first, which is,
Page 4 in the packet.
pardon?
Page 4 in the application.
Yes. Yes,
So
that's-
basically, we're just looking to put an in-law ADU on, and, as far as, do you need me to go through the questions, or?
You don't need to unless you want to add to them, because you've submitted them in writing, and
Yep.
they will be on file in the record.
Okay.
So if you want to add to them or explain anything, you're welcome to.
No, just that we're in keeping with the neighborhood, and, in our opinion, it's going to enhance the neighborhood, if anything, and home values.
It's going to meet the setbacks?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Okay. So anything else you want to add regarding the special exception?
No, we're basically, from the plan that we submitted, I believe we're meeting all of the requirements for an ADU.
Okay. Does the board have any questions of the applicant?
Reference to special exception?
Just the special exception. We'll do the variance afterwards.
What are the criteria for the special exception?
Appropriate location for such use, being consistent with the town's current master plan.
Yeah.
Size or frequency will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood.
Can we talk about that one for a second?
Sure.
This proposed addition is bigger than the footprint of the house.
Okay.
It's also, we talk about gross square footage, which should also include a means of egress, which the one that this set of plans do not have a means of egress. To the exterior.
Yeah,
So in regards to that, I don't know if I can speak yet, but
hold on just a minute.
So I'm a little concerned about the design. Not so much concerned about an ADU meeting the special exception. I think that when they talk about it's gross square footage, which must include the stairwell to the exterior. So we're really talking about a proposed addition to this ADU of 1,120 square feet, based upon the dimensions on the plan given, which is significantly larger than allowed by our ordinance.
I mean, I was concerned even at 1,000 square feet, it's 25% greater.
But with the special exception, we're not talking about size, we're talking whether we're gonna allow, they have to go through a special exception to get the permission to do an ADU. Then they come back to us for the variance, is that correct?
Right.
Well, not come back, that we're gonna discuss that this evening. So size, unless you have an issue with the overall size of the neighborhood, I would think we will discuss that during the variance portion.
I think we can discuss it anytime. I'm just concerned.
Well, do you think that the size being larger than it is, that it will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood? Or do you think
I think it will.
okay, then I would say pertains to what you want to present.
One is, this is a homeowners association,
Uh-huh.
so haven't heard anything about the homeowners association, whether there's an agreement that allows them to even do this,
So the,
or that it prevents them from doing
this
it.
is an open space subdivision. Patty did not have a homeowners association on file, so every property owner within this open space subdivision receives certified notice of the meeting.
Okay,
And it's been my experience that typically the way the open space subdivisions have been, I don't know any that have precluded accessory dwelling units or other uses permitted by special exception. We did not look at, again, because we didn't, there wasn't a homeowners association, we didn't look at whether there were homeowners association rules or bylaws or any covenants or restrictions. We did not look for that.
okay.
Do you want any feedback from the applicant on that? It would probably be,
If the applicant can provide us with, or his representative can provide us with any further information.
okay, would you like to?
In regards to the size,
Yeah,
are we talking about the variance, or, I mean,
Special exception.
okay, we're just talking about special exception.
Yeah, one of the criteria is that the size or frequency of the use will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood.
Yep,
And where 800 square feet is what is allowed.
Yeah.
You're asking for 1,000.
yep,
But Alan is saying that when you add the stairs to it, the exterior stairs, is that right?
the interior stairs.
Oh, the interior-
They go to the garage, but not to the outside.
It adds another 120 square feet.
I haven't
Gross
been,
square footage.
does this town include the stairway to the, this is a common set of stairs that goes up to the main house and the ADU. I haven't, and I've done a lot of, as a matter of fact, 3-car garage unders with ADUs above. You know, this is, I've done several of them. I can show you some pictures of others, but, and I know they're in different towns, but I haven't had anybody count the stairway as square footage to the actual ADU. I mean, it's already, just on the design phase of going through the process of designing an ADU, it's so hard to fit everything in these spaces that, you know, we're always just trying to crunch everything together. I mean, the stairway is usually never involved in that situation. It's considered a common area.
Denise?
So I noticed the same thing. However, if you look at it, they have a door at the top that goes, you have 2 doors. One that goes into the residence and one that goes into the ADU. So it's, and a lot of times you only go up to the ADU, and then there's a separate door that goes in. That's a gray area.
A resident requires an exit to the exterior.
Okay, so then it would have to include it.
So I think we have advised on those common stairwells, at least I have, because we have had this inquiry, that a common stairwell would not be included in the calculation of the 800 square feet. And that's how, because again, the zoning ordinance does not talk about that or discuss whether or not that interior stair, whether a common stair would be included. The guidance we have provided applicants is it would not, provided it was common to both the single family and the accessory dwelling unit. The egress issue would be something that would be addressed by the building code officer.
Is the stairwell already there?
No, it's not.
it's
So it would
being
be
built
part of the new
because-
structure?
It's being built because of the ADU.
Yes, I
Or-
mean, it's
okay.
part of the new structure. But, I mean, I've done this in many towns, I've never heard this before. Because it would make it impossible to design some of these ADUs. We just don't have, it's very common. And in regard to the direct egress, I was talking to the architectural designer who did the plans. And, you know, that back office could have a door to it and we could put a deck. We could deal with that with the building inspector, so, you know, so there would be, if needed, we would put a door there and just have it go to a landing and down a set of stairs to directly to the outside. This is preliminary, you know, we don't, a lot of times spend all of our clients' money, you know, designing everything to a T, but that's something that we could change if that's what you're requiring, so.
Jason?
So a landing and an exterior set of stairs would count against that 800 square feet as well?
I don't think that we've ever counted
We
exteriors.
did. We did, I can tell you because it happened to me.
Yes, it did.
Is that in the zoning law?
Yes,
Is
it
that,
is.
that's in the zoning?
Yes, it
That
is.
in an ADU, the
Says gross
stairs to
square
the
footage, which
exterior are
includes
counted
all
as a
of the
square
construction.
footage?
Yep.
So the amount of square footage a staircase is taking, when we're talking variance, now we're talking dimensions, I guess we're talking, looking at it this way, it's 4 feet wider. I don't know how many square feet that would be for the whole building. But we're looking at, is the building gonna be out of place in the neighborhood, based on the size, am I correct? Okay.
And if I could just say, I do, like I said, I do a lot of these, and, you know, I can show you pictures right now of at least three-car garage under, ADU above, that, you know, fit pretty good in the neighborhood. It's not, you know, it's not a monstrosity that it sounds like it's being made out to be.
So I have a question. So this piece is being added onto this home, right? So when I was looking at it, there's already a 2-car garage underneath there.
Yep.
What's happening? So is that staying as part of the garage? Or is that going to be converted to something else? Or
Yeah,
that's
that'll be
not
closed
stated?
off. We'll wall off the doors, the current 9x7 doors. We'll add a man door, person door, to be able to walk through to the main house from underneath. So you'd go into the garage on the left, and you'll have a man door right there, straight to their stairway. That's on the front of the house in the basement. And that would be the pass-through there. The rest of it is basement. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the basement. Just like it's going from a garage under to a basement.
And again, that basement is not already there, right?
The garage under is there currently.
Okay.
And that's what's going to become just basement. There'll be no cars parked in there.
Okay. So are they going to be building another garage afterwards?
They'll just have the three-car garage
Three-car
that's
garage
underneath
under.
the ADU structure that we're proposing.
Okay. Anything else, Alan?
Not at this moment.
Denise? Judy? Jason? Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Because we'll vote on the special exception before we go on to the variance.
In regards to the special exception, I've seen it as I go through every town, it's almost a formality that an ADU is allowed. The state of New Hampshire has really pushed to
has.
make ADUs,
Yep.
you know, a go,
Yeah.
so that families can be together. I just can't imagine that
But
would
there are
be shut
still,
down.
there are still restrictions and guidelines within each individual
Sure, yep,
communities.
and they allow towns
ordinances.
to make certain guidelines and provisions for their needs, but they did, you know, they told the towns, you gotta accept them, and you can make changes here and there, but I just can't imagine us stopping at even the special exception.
Ellen?
What's the state law that governs that?
Derek, do you have any
I
clue?
would have to look it up. I know there were changes, there's been many changes to the land use laws for housing.
Yeah.
And I can try and find it real quick.
I thought there was a square footage involved with it in the state statute.
There is. I want to say it's going to be a minimum of 800.
Not minimum.
Max.
Maximum? Might be.
It's a maximum of 1,000, actually.
It's
I believe-
RSA 674, It's 71 through 73.
674, 71 through 73. That is within a return.
Can you repeat that again, Derek?
So it's on page 461, if you've got the red planning and land use book with you. It's RSA 674-71. This was effective June 1st, 2017.
Accessory dwelling units.
A municipality may establish minimum and maximum sizes for an accessory dwelling unit, provided that size may not be restricted to less than 750 square feet.
To less than,
Right, so at 800 square feet,
is in our ordinance.
that's right. So we're okay with that.
Okay. I see the 750 is on the bottom paragraph, paragraph 7.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the last paragraph, 10. You ought to read that
An
one.
accessory dwelling unit may be deemed a unit of workforce housing for purpose of satisfying the municipality's obligation
Oh, my goodness.
if it meets the criterion RSA 674-58.
It's an interesting one.
Okay,
That I did not realize. Okay, thank you.
okay.
Well, I'd like to make a motion. No.
Well, first we have to have the public hearing
Jumped
open.
ahead.
We got to open the public hearing. Is there anybody in the public who wants to make a comment? I'm looking at you.
I'm just here observing.
Okay. Then I'm going to close the public hearing on the special exception, and the board will discuss and take a vote.
So I'd like to comment.
Go ahead.
I don't have an issue with granting a special exception. I think the variance is what we're going to discuss ours. So as far as them putting an accessory dwelling unit attached to this building, I do not have an issue.
Okay. Jason, Judy?
I also think that if there was an association and they were concerned about it, they'd be here.
Yes.
And they're not here.
Right.
At least no one's represented themselves being here.
And they were notified, right.
And they were all notified.
I have to agree with Denise about the size. That is something more for the variance than it is, and it does concern me, but it is something more for the variance than the special exception.
Right.
Because the size or frequency of the use, they're only asking if it will not significantly alter the neighborhood. So, I don't think it would. And it's, the size of it being greater than 800 square feet would be something within the variance itself. And that's where their request is anyway, for greater than 800 square feet.
If you look at the tax cards on the surrounding properties, it would make this home the largest in that subdivision.
But somebody has to have the largest house.
Just because you do.
No, I don't. But somebody,
Somebody's
somebody
gonna.
always has the largest, somebody always has the smallest.
Yeah, somebody's gonna.
It's true. I'm
There's
just,
some pretty good sized houses in that area anyway, so I don't think it would not fit.
say again, I didn't.
Sorry. There are some pretty good sized houses in that area anyway, I don't think it would not fit,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
There are other ADUs in there too, from my understanding.
You don't want to bring our attention to it then.
Well, right now, any comment right now is limited to the board itself anyway.
Okay.
I'm ready to make a motion if nobody else has comments.
She already said she was
Oh,
gonna
good,
make
you
one.
do it. Make a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the special exception to construction an accessory attached dwelling unit in accordance with section 3.12.A.6 and 5.2 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance.
Okay. Judy made the motion, Jason seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? And any abstaining? Okay, so we have 4-1, and that motion carries.
And you wanna make any findings of
Oh, yes,
facts?
we need to include our findings, because that was effective as of August 23rd. So we need to include the reasoning why we're approving.
Okay,
So you made the motion, so.
all right. So you want my personal of why I'm approving it? Is
Yeah,
that what's
yeah.
happening?
As
Yes,
it-
I approve it because it fits right into the existing area of where it's built, and that's it.
It meets the
It has
meets Meets the
It
criteria
meets
for
the-
granting a special exception.
Yes, it meets the criteria of granting a special exception.
So you're going to say that it is, the specific site is an appropriate location, consistent with the town's master plan. Size, frequency of the use will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood. The use will not create a nuisance or hazard to vehicles and pedestrians in a matter that cannot be ameliorated. The proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for adequate and appropriate facilities for the proper operation of the use. And the proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for appropriate buffers of this use to adjacent properties. And I think we really hit on all of those within the discussion because of the location, the neighborhood that it's in. It's a kind of a, they have some larger lots. They're gonna meet all the setbacks. So I would agree. Okay. And so we had our vote 4-1. And now we move on to the application for the variance. Are you ready? And the same would apply. You don't have to address the variance criteria if you don't want to. It's already going to be in the record as it is, but if you want to expound on that at all, clarify anything, add to it.
Yep. So basically, we're just trying to meet the needs of our clients, without trying to make any, unreasonable requests. I did call the town prior to, even getting to this point, and in talking to, the planning department, they quote unquote thought it was not an unreasonable request, that they thought it was, a reasonable request, that we could potentially get up to 1,000 square feet. Some of the information that I was told was that there is some two-family allowed in this zoning district. I didn't look it up personally, but I went by what the planning board member told me, or not member, but whoever was working in the planning board, it was Derek, I believe. And, is this Derek?
That's there.
Oh, okay. We had talked, and it just seemed like it was a potential, situation where there's already two-family, we're just under the lot square footage that two-family would be allowed, and, going with a couple hundred extra square feet to be able to meet the needs of my client. There are some health concerns and, needing definitely an extra bathroom and the washer and dryer, and like I said, it's really tough designing these ADUs, and in order to get that, and also having a quiet space, which would be required as well as far as just for a quality of life standard. We thought it was a reasonable request to come in with it. You know, as far as the mass and the size of the ADU, as I said, I do a lot of them, and they're large additions, but they very typically don't, you know, yell and scream at you when you drive by them. They're just a part of the house that we try to design, as you can see on the plans. You know, I think it fits with the house pretty well. It's tall because it's got the garage under, but, you know, that's usually the best situation of putting an in-law together, even though it's up on the second floor. It's what everybody that I've worked with, that's their desire, is to have it so that they can have more space underneath, so they don't lose. It's typically a garage under. It's a amazing thing that I run into these garage unders, and then the people want to get rid of the garage under and then create 3 more with the ADU above. You know, I have them on my website. I think it's what, you know, it's just seems to be a tried and true plan. And like I said, as far as the variance for the upping the square footage, you know, it's purely to meet the needs of my client and to, you know, get through some health issues that really would be a hardship on them. And I just don't think it's an unreasonable request, because I don't think it's going to, the 200 square feet is going to make this ADU, you know, pop out any more than, you know, a typical ADU would. So it's all about the client for me. I'm trying to meet their needs. And we thought this was the best way to go about it. You know, it's all about joining families together. That's my goal. I want to just help them, you know, to get where they want to go.
Board have any questions?
And it looks like, you know, the staff review on the ZBA application, it seems to me that they don't have, that there's no you know, impact. You know, the board recommends that there's no adverse regional impact.
Yeah?
So I just don't know if that's.
Yeah, that the regional impact applies to the surrounding towns as much as it does just the immediate community, but does it impact the surrounding towns with, let's see, the criteria like emissions and noise and,
It's a procedural item, and
Yeah.
if it is a
Yeah.
regional impact, we have to notice other towns.
Right.
So
Okay,
if you were gonna
I haven't run into that before.
No,
Have
it's
you got the letter?
It's gotta be a
more,
pretty
it's
big
more,
development.
it's more commercial typically.
yeah.
Okay. But I will say that I don't believe it's gonna have impact on the direct neighborhood either, you know, other than to raise maybe property values a little bit. And,
Okay.
you know, the fact that it's the largest house on the street, I don't know where that,
Okay.
I don't see that would be a problem. but-
I do have a question for you regarding your responses to the variance criteria, and especially as it pertains to the hardship. And the hardship, you didn't answer the first part, and that's okay if you don't want to. But it's supposed to be, the hardship is determined by special conditions of the property that distinguish it from others in the area that would create this hardship. So can you tell me what conditions of the property are that distinguish it from others in the area that would cause the hardship?
In regards to if we couldn't get,
What is there about the property that causes the hardship as compared to others in the neighborhood?
The question she's asking is, what's the hardship about the property that causes you not to design something for 800 square feet?
It is, like I said, it's for the client, it's not, you know, the hardship towards, in regards to the lot,
Yeah,
I hate zoning board questions. It's like impossible to answer something. I do this a lot, and it's like, what, I don't,
Do you have your application, or do you have
Yeah.
the application in front of you?
yep,
Page 3, I think it's
Yeah,
page 3 of the
A.
application, and look to number 5, and 5A, and then Roman numeral 1, or lowercase 1.
I would say, just going down to the fact that, you know, there are 2 families in the area. You know, there are 2 families in the zone. They're just under the square footage, and, you know, I feel that, you know, having an ADU in it and having, upping the square footage in an area that allows 2-family, I just think the hardship falls that, you know, it's allowed in the zone. So,
It's allowed in the zone? What's allowed in the zone?
2-family homes.
Having a 2-family unit?
2-family, yeah.
This is technically not a 2-family,
Right,
it's an accessory dwelling unit.
Yep.
And where the goal of an accessory dwelling unit is, in my opinion, not to make it a 2-family,
right.
or a duplex, because, you know, the sizes are quite,
Right, and
Quite
I'm not saying that
comparable
we're
here.
asking for a 2-family home, but
right.
it's in an area that has that, and, you know, if we're doing 200 extra square foot on an ADU, I just don't think that there's any impact, and that there's hardship, basically, that they're not able to, you know, get their 1,000 square feet, their 200 square feet extra that they're looking for.
If you were asked to reduce it, would you be able to? Or if you were denied the 1,000 square feet, would you be able to reduce it?
I can tell you, we went round and round. The design on this was very difficult. We had several sessions on it, and trying just to meet the needs of the client with their, you know, health concerns, and we had several go-arounds on it, and it just came to a point where we're not gonna meet the needs of the client and their needs within the residence. It's really gonna be difficult.
Denise?
I'd like to talk to you more about the hardship for the proposed use is reasonable because, so I understand, you're saying separate bathrooms are required and no issue. The office square footage, that's a large room. It's a large space, I know that you may not think it is, but 18-foot wall cabinets and a kitchen, it's a large space, it's a big kitchen. It's a beautiful design, but we have a regulation of 800 feet. I believe in the past, we have given a special exception for 50 feet, and that was strictly because of the staircase, because they needed to have a wider staircase.
I think for a
It's doable. It is doable. The size of the garage is large. I realize, I understand you want to see 3 cars in it. I get that. But it's large because it's got that passage door. You know, I think, I'm not going to tell you how to design, but I personally think it's a lot of square footage for an ADU that I don't think is necessary. And then when I read that hardship, I don't understand why it has to be so large.
Other than what I've already said, you know.
You know, looking at the 2 bathrooms, I mean, one's small, so that's not taking up a ton of space. You know, so I'm looking at that. washer and dryer, see where you put it in a closet, another thing, that's not taking a lot of space. Just, it's a large area that I don't, for an ADU, this is looking more like a two-family to me.
That was my thought when I first saw it, when I looked at it at
I
home.
mean, I support ADUs, I support the whole reason why they're being used. I just, and I think it fits into the neighborhood, it's a nice design, but we have ordinances for a reason. And I just don't see the hardship on how we're gonna get past that, at that square footage.
Other than health reasons. Just needing a, you know, hoping to have a private space that's quiet space. Along with the bathroom and the, you know, having a laundry on the site. 'Cause I've done it before, we've had to do it in the house and it just makes it.
I have to say, this is the first ADU I've seen with 2 bathrooms.
It is. Not a bad idea, but.
Yeah,
it's-
I've done
it's
2
size.
bathroom and 2 bedroom before, but, you know, we
I could see that too.
don't have,
But it's a substantial kitchen, living room area.
some towns allow 1,000 square feet.
But where our variance is 800, and that's what we have to work with. And that's what we're charged to do, is to deal with
I said
ours.
Denise's comments about size. I made a note, and I'm gonna offend somebody. Plans are bad. It's the first note I made on the plans when I was looking at them. Okay? It's just plain big.
It's an attractive plan.
I just did a $1
But it is-
million house out
it is
there
too
in
big.
Bedford that has 3-car garage, it's only 36 foot wide.
2 bathrooms?
I think I have to agree with Denise, it's just too big,
And
period.
I personally would love to see this extended versus being voted on. Look at him, look at me, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. So he can regroup with his clients.
Continue it. Remember, the new laws are in place and it has to be,
No?
doesn't it have to be completed by a certain time?
You get
At 10 o'clock?
90 days.
Yeah,
90
90
days.
days, okay,
I mean, that's just my opinion.
okay.
That
Continued
to
and come back next.
What's that?
let you discuss this with your clients so that we could vote, but,
We could, and then he could come back with a different plan as well.
oh, that's true. So
And then
then
we
as
don't
long
have
as
that-
it's not,
Then we don't have
okay.
that time clock
Then
before
I-
us.
Yeah, I don't have an issue.
Okay. Jason?
So, the existing 2-car garage, I'm gonna try. The existing 2-car garage, why is it going to a 3-car garage? Is it because now there's going to be another vehicle?
It's in front of it. It's in front of the existing 2-stall garage.
Right, they're building a 3-car garage in front of the 2, but right now there's 2 there. So why is there going to be a 3rd? Is it to accommodate the car from the ADU?
Yes.
So, this is interesting because I have general interest in ADUs, given my history. And, you know, for existing structures that have nothing in them, building an ADU on top of it makes a lot of sense to me. It always has. We're building a new structure, adding it, and making it bigger, so basically a 2-car garage to a 3-car garage for the sole purpose of basically accommodating the vehicle from the ADU. So I almost count that as ADU space. I know we can't,
No.
but that's the reasoning
It's
behind
making,
it.
it is making the whole
So,
thing a lot bigger.
It's not
making it
necessary
bigger.
though to make it larger.
Right,
To fit the 3 cars.
Right.
So it's not
Right.
like it has to be this size to fit 3 vehicles.
Do you remember we approved an ADU up here on Elm Street last year?
Yeah. The one with the,
850 feet.
Yeah. And they came back and after they reduced it and changed the plan.
yeah.
Yeah,
I really feel that this is more like a duplex in size.
Yep.
I feel that it is far too big for an accessory dwelling unit, you know, it exceeds our ordinances by a significant amount.
Correct.
Anybody else? Judy? Do you have any additional comments?
Nothing beyond what I've said.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Oh,
Do you open it to the public?
that's what I mean. I was opening the public hearing. I'm going to open the hearing to the public and see if there's anybody who wants to comment. No? Okay. Then I'm going to close the public hearing, and the board is going to deliberate. And remember, as we deliberate, we do need to include our findings.
I think I'm prone to motion and continuance so that to allow the applicant an opportunity to revise the design.
Well, you know, the thing I thought of after that is we could avoid the clock by denying it and then letting him come back. But then he's got the fees of a whole new
Exactly.
application.
And a big,
That's what
longer
I'm-
delay.
That's what I'm trying to prevent,
Right.
is the
Okay.
additional fees.
So you want to continue the application and,
I would think that would be a reasonable consideration.
I think they should be given the choice, but
yeah,
Given what now?
given that choice.
because is a month soon enough to come back? You know, can they do it in a month? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing again for a minute then, so we can ask him. Do you have a preference for your clients to either, if we continue the application and you come back with a revised plan that's more suitable to the criteria that you need to meet, or would you, we do have a time clock on that, so would you be able to come back in 1 month for our next meeting? And then the other thing is, or we can, it looks like the board would possibly be denying it tonight, and if we deny it, then you would have fees to be able to come back with a new application. But if we continue it, the fees would not be there. Is that correct,
you're
Eric?
denying the request?
Is that correct? Eric, the fees would not be there if
I
we
would-
continue it?
So if the hearing is continued to the next meeting, we do not need to renotice of others, and we do not need to renotice in the paper, and we do not collect any additional
Correct,
fees.
correct.
So by the consensus of the board, it looks like there would be a denial. That I'm just saying. I'm sure you've heard the conversation. We seem to have similar opinions, that it's excessive for the zoning ordinance.
And they're not great, they're not really, the hardship is not there,
Correct,
making it required to be over 800 square feet.
correct.
And that we have guidelines and you have, to I just don't see the hardship.
So do you have a preference on what you would like to do for your clients?
Well, if it's gonna get denied, we would continue the meeting. So we would go to the next first Tuesday of
The October 4th.
October.
Correct.
Would be the first item on the agenda.
And then the plan would have to be done by,
So because this is already noticed, we would not change how it reads. I would really
Just the
need it.
layout, right?
I would need it a week prior,
1 week prior to the meeting.
1 week prior to the meeting, so that would be, so a week before, so the 27th, that way we can give copies to the board so they can review it and have it on file at home.
Is that workable for you?
Can I ask a question real quick? So that 90-day thing is from the application submission, right?
Yes,
So we're roughly,
you have till November 17th.
okay, so there's 2 meetings in between there.
There are 2 meetings in
Okay.
between.
I just want to bring that up because our rules also say that if we don't have a 5-member board, you can choose to continue again.
But that would be the applicant's decision, not caused by us. I will not be here, so you
Right.
will be one member down, but we have an
But we have
alternate.
Judy and
So
Lexi
we
be
should have
here.
no issue.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that I was thinking the right thing.
So if that was the case, I would continue. Get the plan by the 27th.
Yeah.
It's not too late to vote. Okay, though.
I think we're reading the tea leaves here, and we're trying to help out. Because I personally am a fan of ADUs, but we have zoning rules that we have to follow. And this is a hard sell.
One of the things I always say is that we can't approve a plan just because we don't like it, and we can't, no, we
Because we
can't,
like it.
we can't approve a plan just because we like it. It has to meet the criteria.
Okay.
And we can't
And
disprove
we
it.
can't deny
don't
it just
like
because we don't like it.
Right.
It's all about the criteria that's in here. So, can we do, is the continuation your choice?
My option is to reapply, right? Or continue.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
continuation with an updated plan.
And we can hit the next meeting. Yeah, that's what,
Yeah, and if for some reason your client wanted to move forward with a vote, you could come back on the 4th and just say, you know, you spoke with your client and no, this is the ADU that they want, and we want to push forward with the variance.
Could we do a
Vote.
straw poll
Could-
before he leaves?
I don't know that that would be appropriate
Okay.
because
He
you're
could-
gonna,
Okay,
Could he call his client and ask? You know what the temperature is. Talk to your client right now if you'd like, outside. I mean, I'm just giving him an option.
are we on TV right now?
we are.
They're probably watching.
We have some
Text 'em.
correspondence that we have
you
to
you
go
do have some
over.
correspondence item you could
Okay.
just recess, or not recess, but just kind of hold off on this public hearing.
I'm sure we're gonna be continuing, but.
Okay, if you want to step out, then we'll do our correspondence things, and you can talk with your client
Okay.
and come back in a
Great,
few minutes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Why don't you give that to him?
No. Screw you.
Okay, man, I feel plan, how we could do it.
so we have,
It's an
Where's
easy
my-
solution.
okay, our correspondence includes the 2019 impending tax deed. It was whittled down to just 11 properties. Did anybody,
Does the zoning board have any comment?
does the zoning board, I don't,
This is the first time I've seen this
is it?
in 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
I don't
I've
know
never
that,
seen them.
I don't know that we have typically involved the ZBA, to be honest.
Yeah.
We,
That's
our
business.
Our town acquisition of real estate procedures does require that we run it by planning board and conservation. So
Yeah.
Okay.
they do that. I don't think we've typically done it for zoning, but they did.
Yeah, I know the Conservation Commission had a comment about one lot that
Yeah, it was a
is kind of
vacant lot,
it's a
yeah.
vacant lot surrounded by conservation land, so they recommended
It's
that
up on the
one.
mountain, right?
Yeah. Okay, and then the other thing is we have the changes to the planning and zoning laws, which were effective August 23rd. So now we need to make sure we continue to include our findings with everything, whether it's an approval or a denial, or it should always be there.
The reason why.
Yeah. And the reason why would primarily go match along with the criteria, you know, if it's why we think it's not the spirit of the ordinance.
I
or
will print a
what.
bunch of these out for the next meeting, well,
The cheat
Can you
sheets?
send them, do
November
you
meeting.
have them electronic? Or can I steal a
Although
copy
I have,
tonight?
yeah, go ahead.
If I can steal a
I mean,
copy, I can.
you know, it's basic.
Yep, no. We can just attach
I
it.
just have the variance, if you can make one.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
saying, if we can add the special exception one to it, because I started making notes. I love this thing.
Yep. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Great. Good. Okay, is there anything else that we need to know, Derek?
The only other item
Oh, yes.
there is,
Yes.
the Municipal Land Use Law Conference hosted by New Hampshire Municipal Association. There will be virtual this year on Saturday, October 15th. If anyone is interested in registering and attending, if you could let me know, and the town does budget for staff as well as volunteer board training, so the town would pay the registration fee. This year, again, it's a virtual conference that they're doing, so if anyone's interested or has any questions, please let me know.
Can we attend it at any time, or does it have to be on that specific day and time?
Let me look and I will get back to you with an answer on that. I know that a lot of times they have been taping it, sending
they
out
have-
everything, and
they-
then
I've
especially
seen
on
some,
that
correct.
that WOVA app that they use,
Mm-hmm.
I've attended some in the past where we've had to go back, so let me check on that.
Thank you.
And this guy, I always look forward to the legal update. Ben Frost is a great presenter, very knowledgeable, and it's always very helpful.
They're great meetings, just tough time of year.
They are. And then, I'm really interested in, I'm gonna be going or joining in. The Housing Appeals Board update I think would probably be of interest to us as well.
Right.
I mean, it all is.
It
but
really is.
Those are what caught my eye. Okay, is there anything else that we have?
I think before the meeting started, we are getting to the point where the planning board is going to start looking at changes to the zoning ordinance.
Yeah,
So I would say if ZBA members have any items that you have seen on a regular basis, or any, even just from personal experience, that you would like to make a suggestion to the planning board for considerations of change, we could talk about that at the October meeting.
okay.
Because they'd be able to forward that, and if you're not able to be at that, you could let me know. I can.
And forward any comments.
Can we petition the town to get it on the ballot?
So there's two routes, as you're aware. The planning board can place it on the ballot, or 25 registered voters can submit petition. And that is between typically about November 11th to December 11th. It varies by a couple days here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the other process.
Yeah, we would, I think our comments would probably go to the planning board first, and then see what they do with it.
Yeah, okay.
And when are they gonna be dealing with that, did you say?
I would have to talk to Joanne, but I think by talking about it and coming up with recommendations at the October meeting, we can get it to the planning board for October. That way, if they said, no, I don't think we're gonna move on this one, you would know that information. That way, if any individuals wanted to move forward, petition to have it added, you could.
And that, I'm sorry.
No, I'll be able to, I'll know where I'll go over at the applicants, I'll just go through them all and.
Yeah,
And that's at the next zoning board meeting?
yes, we'll do that at the October meeting. So if you could think of, and it might just be easy if you go on the website under our minutes and agendas, you have all your agendas there. Those might just kind of
Sparker.
spark your, oh yeah, I remember this, we've seen a lot of these.
Yeah.
Kind of things.
Yeah.
I think that's all we had.
Okay. Well, we will,
So I will kinda try to get some work done between now and the time I leave and send you a list.
okay.
There won't be
it to
too
Derek?
many. Oh, Derek?
Or-
Yeah, if you send
Send
it
it
to
both
me
of
and
us.
Gail, that would be
Okay,
great.
and I'll give a little explanation why.
I have a question. This is a new thing. On page 55, it's called cemeteries and burial grounds. And I've
Are you
always
telling us
wondered why
something?
that's in the zoning ordinance.
Oh. I might wanna put a cemetery in.
I haven't quite figured that one out.
You know, they're not emptying out, so.
I think that's probably more designed
And they're
for,
quiet neighbors.
That's it.
more designed for the, if we were to have any applications for a private cemetery versus a,
Does that ever happen?
Of course.
so
Your
there are none
house
in
and-
Goffstown, but, well, I guess
Yeah, the
there are a
old, right?
couple behind Villa Augustina, they have some there. But there are in other communities, yes.
You ever saw an old house with a couple stones out back?
Yeah.
You mean the dog?
No. Hence the 1 acre in size, see?
Should we go
Actually,
get
you
one?
could
I did- it's
charge
just
a lot for
curiosity,
burial plots,
just-
that may not be a bad idea.
Denise, you wanna go give him a little nudge to see how he's progressing? Sure.
I'm more concerned about if there are any standards in here that we could, I'll call it, brief a little bit.
Could what?
Make them condensed
Oh,
a little bit, rather than so verbose.
well, go through them.
He's gonna be happy I'm not here next week, next month.
So if anybody's interested in solar, I just had it put in my house.
Did you?
Unreal.
I have it, I have had it for a few years now.
On your roof?
Yeah.
We're talking about it.
Absolutely. I'm astounded at the energy it produced in August.
Really? Yeah,
Almost
well,
twice what my capacity.
my electric bill doubled.
Yeah, they all
I think
did.
a lot, everybody's did.
Not a
Well,
good time of year, get the pool.
Yeah.
well, you know,
Sorry about that.
That's all
That's
right.
okay, I just figured you would let you know we were
we've
done.
solved all the rest of the world's problems. while
Right,
we're gone.
I hope so. Yeah, we're gonna continue.
Okay.
We'll get a new plan before the 27th, and
Do you wanna close the public and our motion?
Okay, I'm gonna-
You're
Do we have to?
continuing the public hearing,
Yes,
Okay.
so,
not closing it. You're
You wanna make a
continuing.
Do we need to make a motion to do that?
Yes.
I'd like to, a motion to continue the public hearing till the October 4th meeting.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, 500, motion carries. We'll see you next month,
okay,
okay?
thank you.
Thank
And you'll be
you.
first on the agenda,
All right,
okay?
have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
Do we have somebody interested in being in the zoning board? By any chance?
Okay, we have no other issues to discuss or matters to address?
There's nothing else on the agenda.
No, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
No, I'd like to call him up
Yeah,
and talk to him.
Please come up here and sit down for a second, if you
You must
would.
have, you didn't hear me.
No.
He's interested in the zoning board.
Oh, come sit,
I was like,
please.
Gail!
I didn't hear that.
I'm looking at you
Come
like,
sit.
what is wrong?
I'm not sure.
That's okay,
I did not come here with that in mind, but when it was mentioned earlier, I was intrigued, so I thought I would inquire after, but now that
Okay.
you brought it up.
So the zoning board is an elected board of 5 full-time members, and then the zoning board has the ability to appoint alternates. Typically, an elected member serves for a 3-year term, and they are a quasi-judicial board, ruling on zoning board applications like you saw tonight, or appeals from administrative officers or the planning board. We have, yes, what, 4 alternate positions currently vacant, and if somebody were appointed to an alternate position, they can fully participate in the meetings, and on nights like this, when a regular member isn't here or might have to step down from an application, the chair will name an alternate to step up. And other than that, you guys meet the first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. So it's a time commitment of Tuesday nights once a month, and we send out copies of all the applications, everything about the week before.
Okay.
Interesting.
And
So-
I think most of, I don't know about most of us, but I know I started out as an alternate. It's a good way to learn
I did, way
the
back when.
procedure.
I did too.
And it's nice because you can participate, even though you may not be a voting member that evening.
Sure.
You get to participate and voice your opinion.
And ask questions that, to help you learn and grow.
And there have been times that we're not a full board and we need 3 yeses, correct?
You always need 3
3
yeses.
affirmative. So people will postpone their hearing for the following month. Sometimes that takes 2 months before they're heard because we're not full. So having alternates is very, very important.
Okay.
And we'd love to see new people.
Yes. You can volunteer online.
Yep, we have a volunteer form on our website.
You can-
And I'll
you
give you
can
one of my
commit right now.
cards if
You can
if
commit right
have
now.
Any other questions?
No pressure.
And you can see past meetings too. on GTV.
Yeah.
If you're just interested, because this was unusual to just have one hearing.
But I think typically your meetings, unless it's a bigger application, your meetings have been running
What,
9
she's
o'clock.
good, yeah.
about 9 o'clock.
But we'll go
9
through
o'clock.
4 or 5 sometimes in that amount of time, yeah.
Outstanding.
Great.
Well, I hope we hear from you.
Sure thing.
Are you new to town,
Oh,
or?
no, I've lived here a long time.
Here we go, see,
No,
Tom,
no.
it's time.
For the record, could you tell me what your name is?
My name is Kevin Jackson.
Kevin Jackson.
We won't be hounding you or anything
That's
like
fine.
that, don't worry about it.
Well,
Derek!
I know in terms of background, you're in the building business,
Yes,
I'm an architect. Judy is a,
Maintenance?
yeah,
homeowner.
homeowner daycare
Yeah,
provider,
well, that's, yeah.
I'm an IT guy.
an IT guy.
I started
I'm
as a
also an
disgruntled
IT
abutter.
myself.
And you don't have to have, it's all kinds of
Way
experience is
back
what
in
we need.
2002.
And the state of New Hampshire right now has an online training program for land use, and that's, I guess, a reminder for you as well.
I did that last year. It was
Yep,
pretty cool.
there's an online training program to get you up to speed on what a zoning board does.
And it's soon, and you can sign up for that. It's in October.
Hopefully that, how topical.
Well, thanks for coming to visit
Thank you.
us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Much appreciated.
I motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.